Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Just a quick reminder for everybody, because I promised that I would remind you when we were getting very near to the end of May. If you are wanting to place an order for any of the Pampered Wolf merchandise and you're wanting to make use of the 15% off offer code, then it will expire at the end of this month. So make sure you place your order by the end of May 2019 to make use of that offer code, and I will link the offer code below. Anyway, let's jump straight into this video because I am so super excited, and I have been so super excited to do this video for everybody ever since I found out that this brand was launching in the UK in Boots. Yes, we finally have Fenty Beauty here in the UK. If you are in the US, Boots is our version of Ulta here in the UK, and I ran straight down there and got as many Fenty Beauty products as possible. I've been using these for the last 3 days, so I feel like I've got a handle on how these work on my skin. I've been trying to get the best out of these products, using them every single which way to try and get them to work on my skin so that I can share with you my thoughts and feelings about all these. Which ones you should avoid, which ones are worth the splurge. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so like I've said, this is not a first impressions review, but super excited because this is another cruelty-free brand, and I like myself a little bit of cruelty-free. Now, you knew that I was going to pick a foundation because I'm a foundation nut. I have no idea how many foundations I actually own. It's quite frightening. But this is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r foundation. It's £27 in the UK, $35 in the US. And you seriously need to prep your skin thoroughly before you wear this foundation. It does say so on the website, and believe me, it's not lying. This is one of those foundations that says it's a soft matte. Not sure that I would call this a soft matte. I think this is very matte. And although I'm going to apply half with a brush and half with a sponge, the sponge is the way to go with this foundation. You get so much of a better coverage because this dries down so quickly. Now, this comes in 40 different shades, and I've gone for the shade 120. They say that this doesn't actually oxidize, but you need to be color matched for this because this seriously darkens when it dries down. Seriously darkens. So just beware about that. Now, like I said, I'm going to apply half with a brush just to show you why this cannot be applied with a brush. And then we're going to apply the other half with a damp sponge. Okay, so I've done one half of my face with a brush, which I wouldn't recommend that you do because it does apply much better with a damp blending sponge. But a lot of you will be thinking that this is too pale for me. I am super pale. If you have a look at my neck, we are colour matching absolutely perfectly. It's just that my face has a lot of pigmentation, a lot of redness. You can't have a floating head when you're doing foundation. You just really can't. It has to match something. So I am just super pale. It is that time of year where maybe I ought to get out in the sun a little bit more. Anyway, let me show you how it blends with a sponge. Okay, so that's both sides done, and it does apply 100 times better with a sponge. You're not constantly battling with it to blend it out, so it does look a lot nicer on my skin. Let me show you this in natural lighting before we move on to a different product. Okay, so I'm not sure you'll actually notice this, but this is the side that I applied the product with a brush. And my skin seriously does look speckly where it's sat in every single pore that I've got. Look around my nose area there and how cakey that actually looks. And my nose is not oily at the moment. This product just is so difficult to blend because it's so fast to dry down. It's even emphasizing the scar that I've got on the side of my face, which you've probably never noticed before in any other foundation. But anything that you are worried about on your skin, whether it's texture, whether it's pores, whether it's a scar, this foundation will show it up. It's like putting a magnifying glass to your skin. It's also sank into my fine line here that I've got on the side of my mouth. And my forehead doesn't look too pretty either. Now let's just move on to the side with a sponge, which looks considerably better than the side that I applied it with a brush, but it's still got the same issues. So it's not airbrushed my pores out. This foundation is supposed to filter everything, and it really doesn't. So on my forehead, it's just looking really dry. As you get round to my chin area, again, really dry. I applied absolutely everything possible on my skin, so it is jam-packed full of moisture, and although this doesn't feel drying on the skin, it doesn't feel super lightweight. I can definitely feel that I've got a product on, and it feels like it's tightened as it's dried down, so it's not a pleasant feeling. Now this isn't going to happen to absolutely everybody. Everybody's skin is completely different, but if you do have dry skin, this is not one that I would recommend for you. If you have texture in your skin, I wouldn't recommend this either. If you have a lot of hairs on your skin, I wouldn't recommend this either. If you have oily skin with no texture whatsoever, this one might work for you, because this does feel like it's not going to get oily throughout the day. Okay, so before I move on, I've got to say, I did say at the beginning of this review that this foundation had 40 shades. Completely wrong. 40 shades is pretty decent, but this actually has 50 shades. They've introduced 10 new shades, so this actually has 50 shades to choose from. And the spectrum is so wide, with cool and warm and neutral undertone shades. And it goes from the palest of the pale to the darkest of the dark. Absolute thumbs up for Rihanna. Such a good selling point. I just wish the foundation worked better on my skin, because I would be raving about this to the end if this was a great foundation for me. If you are even remotely considering purchasing this foundation, please, 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 I highly recommend going and getting a free sample before you buy. Please try this before you buy it, because I have no idea how this has got so many rave reviews on the internet, because it just does not work for me. And to be quite honest, neither does the concealer, but we're going to try it out anyway. All the problems that the foundation gives, the concealer also gives. This is rather drying, so if you don't want your skin to look dry, or you already have dry skin, then this is one to avoid. I've put some on the back of my hand. I'm using exactly the same shade as the foundation, which is 120. This is £19 in the UK, $26 in the US, and it's medium to full coverage, just like the foundation. I'm just going to apply this with a brush, and you'll see I've hardly got any product on my brush whatsoever, and it's really decent coverage, which I like. I really like that. Now I have a little bit of oil underneath my eye today, which I don't normally have with all my other concealers and foundations. But after playing around with this concealer, I found that that is the best way to make it work for my skin. So not to make it look as super dry. Now once I've put it on with a brush, I'm going to go straight in with my damp blending sponge and just press that into the skin to make sure that it doesn't dry down too quickly and it's blended out perfectly. You are obviously taking off a little bit of product doing it this way, but it does stop it from looking patchy and speckly. It's really nice though. Look at that. The effect is great. And this works for me with a little bit of oil underneath the eye. So if you have already bought this product and you can't make it work for you, put a little bit of oil underneath your eye and just blot off the excess, and you'll find you get a much nicer finish with this concealer. It didn't work with the foundation because I tried that yesterday, but it definitely does work with the concealer. So just to let everybody know, I have found in the last few days that you cannot apply any powder on top of this concealer until it has completely dried down. You end up in a little bit of a mess. So I recommend leaving at least 5 minutes before you apply any powder. And if you've applied any oil underneath the concealer, like I recommend if you are worried about any dryness or dry skin or it looking a little bit crepey throughout the day, then you're going to need to leave a little bit longer because the oil will hinder the drying down process of this concealer. So I've now left 10 minutes and I'm going to go in with the next product. Now I actually haven't purchased this product because I had so much in my basket. They gave me a little free gift, which was the bag that I showed you earlier, and it had a mini lipstick in, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, and it also had some of the Pro Filt'r setting powder in the shade Butter. Now if I was going to buy this for myself, this comes in 8 different shades. Probably would have gone for the lavender one because that is the palest powder. This one is slightly too dark for my skin, but it does come in 8 different shades. There will be something for absolutely everybody. And the Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Setting Powder is £24 in the UK and $32 in the US. I'm going to go in again with my blending sponge, get a tiny bit of that powder and just press it underneath the eye. So let me just make you aware that even though this concealer sets really, really fast if you don't put an oil underneath it, it does wander throughout the day and crease up a little bit. So you are going to need to set it in place, and that is a struggle for a lot of people. I do like this setting powder, but even when I've used the setting powder and set this in place, it only holds for a little bit of time. I have found that the concealer does still move, and I've tried this every which way, without oil underneath it, with oil underneath it. It's a nice concealer if you have no lines whatsoever, and again, it's a nice powder, there's nothing wrong with it. It does hold, it's beautiful, it's very finely milled, but probably when this is gone, it hasn't made that much of an impact on me that I will be desperate to go and repurchase this when this one has run out. So I like it though, I do like it, just a little bit unsure whether it's worth the price tag. Now it may seem like I've set out on this review wanting to murder absolutely everything that I try. Believe me, that is not the case. I've been so super excited to get my hands on these products and I wanted to love them all. For a start, I buy all these items myself, so if I don't like them, it means I can't use them. So I really want to get my use out of these products, and unfortunately I've just been a little bit disappointed with the first 3. But we're gonna move on to products that are a lot more positive. I'm just going to do my eye makeup and I will be right back. Okay, so I've done my eyelashes and my brows. Let's move on to a few products that I actually really, really like and think are worth the splurge. The first one being the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalk'r Instant Warmth Bronzer. This is such a beautiful product. Not only is the packaging absolutely gorgeous, even though after about 30 seconds it is covered in fingerprints, I still really, really like it. I'm just constantly rubbing it to clean it. Absolutely beautiful. I've gone for the lightest shade, obviously with me being super, super pale, but this comes in 8 different shades, so there will be something for everybody, and this is quite a cool tone bronzer. Let me grab some brushes and get some of this on. Now at first this is quite subtle when it goes on, but you can really build this up, and I've tried this with different foundations and it works with them all. It's such a buttery bronzer. There is nothing powdery about this bronzer at all. It's so buttery and it blends out really nicely. I don't feel like it sticks to any areas. It's just so easy to blend. Really nice shade range as well, and I really struggle to find bronzers that aren't too orange or too deep in colour for me, make me look absolutely ridiculous. this one is one that I'll be using quite a bit. Absolutely beautiful. So this is £23 in the UK, $30 in the US. And it's just stunning. It looks so nice as well. It'd be absolutely gorgeous to keep in your handbag. Just get out and show off. Oh, hello. It's so nice. Really is lovely. So I probably got a little bit carried away with how much I've put on because I just get rather excited when I find a bronzer that actually is really nice on my skin. So nice. Definitely worth the splurge. £23 in the UK, $30 in the US. You will see me using this quite a bit in lots of future videos because I love it. Absolutely love it. So let's move on to cheeks because Fenty Beauty don't really do blushes as such. They do things called matchsticks, which are more of a highlighter sort of shimmer stick, which put me off a little bit at first because one, my mum absolutely hates too much shimmer, and so do I on the actual cheek area, especially if you've got any fine lines or wrinkles around the area that you're going to be applying any blush. Shimmer isn't always great, but this is so subtle and so beautiful. Let me just get the correct brush because it's behind me. I'll be back in just a sec. So this is one of the Fenty Beauty match sticks. These are £21 in the UK, $25 in the US. They come in 10 different shades. This is the shade Yacht Life. Like I said earlier on, these are more of a shimmer stick than a blush. But it is really subtle. You'll see here, this is a very corally pinky shade. And you can see the iridescent glow that that gives. So if you don't like a lot of sparkle, this doesn't give sparkle, but it does give glow. I've tried applying this in lots of different ways. So I've applied it with my fingers, I've applied it directly to the cheek and then blended it out. And I've also applied it with brushes. And I do feel like the best way to apply this is with a brush, a really fluffy stippling brush, and this is a generic brush from Superdrug, $7.99, $8.99, and I use this also to apply the blusher stick from Chanel in the Chanel video last month. Okay, so I'm taking the brush and I'm just going to swirl it on the top of the matchstick, get a little bit of product on the end of the brush, and just very lightly dab that on the apple of the cheek and swoop it up. This is so subtle, but you can build it up. You can make it really va-va-va-voom if you really want to. Or really nice and subtle. And I put this on my mum on the way back from Leeds on the train. On a moving train and with my fingertips, it looked stunning. So if you're really worried about whether this will work on a more mature skin, yes, it does. It really does. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. It's more of a highlighter and a blush at the same time without being sparkly. Just really nice. Now, if you've got a lot of texture around this area, I would say don't apply it over your texture because it will highlight your texture. Just apply it where you don't have texture and blend out. I love this. I absolutely love this. This is another one of those things that even if I don't have any makeup on, which is very rare at the moment because I'm constantly testing out new products, but if I was just to nip to the supermarket first thing in the morning when I don't have any makeup on whatsoever, this is one of those products that I would reach for just to give me a little bit of a subtle flush to the cheeks. It's so natural, so beautiful. When I came down in this yesterday, Wes said how nice I looked. Thanks, Wes. He did. He said, you look really lovely today. And then he got really up close and saw my foundation and went, ooh. Truth. That is what happened. But he loves this blush. Just looks so girly and so natural. I love it. I absolutely love it. So this is another one in the recommend pile. However, I will mention one very, very important thing. One of the ingredients in here is cocoa butter. So if you break out a lot with the use of any cocoa butter ingredient, this might not be for you. But let me just say, I am one of those people that breaks out with cocoa butter products, and it hasn't happened to me yet. And usually it happens very, very quickly on my skin, and I've been wearing this for the past 3 days and nothing, absolutely nothing. So it might be worth a try. If you're really nervous about it, then stay clear. So if that wasn't enough of a highlight for you, then Fenty Beauty also do some highlighters, and they do some duo palettes, and I've got one of those duo palettes, of which there are 5 to choose from. I've gone for the Girl Next Door and Chic Phreak, which is a really nice pinky tone, pinky and peachy. So you've got a really nice pinky, more of a buttery highlighter, and then you've got one that is a peach, which is far more glitzy if you want that glittery highlighter. Now, how I've been using these, I love the peachy one, by the way, and I just pad that in the middle of my eyelid, and it's just, wow, really, really nice. Use subtle if you want, but you can also make them pop so that you can see them from the moon. They are super, super sparkly if you want them to be. So if you're wondering how much these cost, they are £28 in the UK, $36 in the US. Absolutely stunning. Come in 5 different palettes if you're wanting a duo. I'm just going to take a little bit of the pinky, more buttery highlighter, and I'm just going to press that on the top of my cheekbone and just blend that out with a different finger. So nice and subtle, and yet if I dampened a little bit of the product, it would be like, whoa! You see the highlighter before you see you sort of scenario, which I don't really go for. I'm more into a more subtle look, as you know. Absolutely love it. Worth every single penny. Even the glittery one, it doesn't fall all over your face, so you won't get a lot of fallout. It stays where you put it because they're so lovely and buttery and just really easy to blend, but they stay put. So if you're wearing this and you're worried about it going into your creases, or you're worried about it traveling down your face as the day goes on, in my opinion and in my experience, these don't do that. They're not really loose and powdery. They are so buttery and so rich and just beautiful to wear. So highly recommend them, and I will probably be going out and buying them in a different shade because there were 2 different palettes that I loved and I couldn't make my mind up over them, and I ended up going for this one, and I will probably go back and get the other one as well because they are just gorgeous. So the last product I'm going to show you today is one of the Fenty Beauty Mattemoiselle lipsticks. These are absolutely gorgeous. £16 in the UK, $18 in the US, come in 24 different colours. The one thing I will say about the colour range, if you are ordering this online in Boots, the colours online look a lot paler than they appear in person. So just bear that in mind if you are picking online. But I've gone for the colour THICC because this is the one that I got in a little mini inside the gift bag because I bought so much, I got a little gift bag. But really, really nice. And to be quite honest, it's my favourite colour out of the entire collection. So I dropped on quite nicely. This is a beautiful Sultry Mauve, it's called. A really lovely pinky colour. And the FB for Fenty Beauty has rubbed off the end already because I have worn this quite a bit over the last few days. Really nice product. Very buttery, very easy to apply. Doesn't go patchy at all. It goes on so smoothly, and even though it's a very matte lipstick, this does not dry your lips out. It's actually quite nice on the lips. It doesn't feel like You know, when you just feel like your lips are all super dry because you've got a matte lipstick on? This doesn't feel that way. I actually wore this lipstick when I went out for lunch with a friend last Friday, and it's very long wearing without having that awful tacky dry feeling on the lips. It feels quite nourishing, so it's a great positive for me. I cannot speak highly enough about this lipstick. So beautiful, definitely worth the splurge, and I will be investing in a few more colours. Just really nice, really beautiful quality, really nice consistency. Again, absolutely love it. Now you may be wondering why I didn't pick up one of the Fenty Beauty lip glosses. They are the #1 best-selling product for Fenty Beauty. I think somebody buys one every minute or something ridiculous like that. To be quite honest with you, I did try them out in store. There were 3 different colours to choose from at the time, and I thought they were all a bit blah. If I'm being completely honest. They were very, very beautiful, not very pigmented, very, very subtle. If that's what you're looking for, then go for a Fenty lip gloss. But I just thought I could get similar products elsewhere for a lot cheaper, so I didn't buy one. So that is why I didn't buy a lip gloss. Really pretty though, not sticky on the lips. Really nice, very subtle. Gorgeous, but could probably get it from e.l.f. or another drugstore brand. So that is the end of this video. I really hope you found it useful. I wish I'd liked more products. I really do. But some of them were amazing and some of them were real big no-nos for me. So hopefully I've given you an insight into what works on my skin. Don't take my word for it though. Everybody's skin is completely different. Go out, get samples of things, go into store, try them out in store, see what you think and see how things react on your skin before you make your mind up. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow me on there. It's @PamperedWolf, all lowercase, no spaces. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, why not? There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all again in the next video. Bye.